I have some things to say about today's movie. First of all, this movie looked like an absolute blast when I watched the trailer. I mean, it looked funny. It looked like it looked goofy. It looked dark. It looked just overall. It looked like a wacko flick. The movie I'm talking about is On Halloween from 2020. Now, I didn't see this movie because I was more distracted with the movie Halloween Party that came out the exact same year, except that movie was terrible, so don't go watch it. And I told myself I'll definitely review this year. But for some reason, the minute I pressed play, I told myself, this is not going to be good. So it is about this urban legend and a serial killer who is going around every Halloween night killing people. And you got these three plots. You got your three groups. You got the group of teenagers who are trying to find out and see if it's real, capture them on camera. These two detectives who are being recorded by a TV producer, and this one journalist and her friend who are trying to find out if the legend is real or not. So they're all trying to look for this killer clown, and eventually they go into the woods and they eventually find him. Cool plot. Opening was okay. Cinematography's okay for an indie film or whatever budget or whatever company was this movie. But here's the one thing. The story tries to be bigger and clever than what it actually is. To be honest, this plot is very... It's not really engaging, and the movie acts like it is engaging. And it doesn't really work that well. But I will say one thing. The clown is probably the best part. He's a lot of fun. He's got the stupid one-liners that are terrible one-liners and terrible rhyming and terrible jokes. It's almost like the Leprechaun level of rhyming and joking. It doesn't work at all, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But, yeah, it's pretty awkward. And not only that, but the characters aren't likable. We don't really care for them. We don't get to know them enough. And while I don't make too many dumb decisions, there's not a lot of stuff that's keeping it going, you know? It's just a lot of stuff that's very awkward. But here's what I'll say. I got nothing to say. This movie's very awkward. That is my main problem with this film. This film's very, very weird. Not because, the plot's weird or, the stuff that happens is weird. It's just, everything flows at a weird pace. The pacing is kind of weird because characters go back and forth to location, and a lot of dialogue is the same, and a lot of the chase scenes are exactly the same. Like, there's a lot of chase scenes in this movie. And at first it's fun, but then it kind of gets boring because it's through the same scenery and there's not much variety. And it's just kind of weird. And I'm sorry, but whoever edited this movie, poor job at doing it. And not only that, but this movie has weird and awkward dubbing. It's like they would, they finished the movie, right? They finished everything, and the actors were like, okay, we're calling it a day. But then the people making it were like, we want you guys to dub everything. We want you to read the script again. We want you to do your lines, and we'll dub it in. Huh? And it's like that throughout the film. Eventually you get used to it, but when you hear it, you can't unhear it. And it's very weird. Not only that, but the whole clown plot, like what his goal was and why he kills people, in my opinion, was very stupid and silly. It's okay if you want to be silly, but this just kind of, it didn't really fit, in my opinion. I get it was like a psychological slasher. There are slashers out there that do stuff like that. Hell, Jason in Part 6 is a freaking zombie. So that's kind of supernatural, I guess. I mean, Part 7 was supernatural with that Carrie girl. But this was just weird. His whole plot is to make potions where he forces people to drink them and then they become more of him. And it's weird. It's really, I don't understand the point in it. I think it's because, like he says, like, oh, to keep us alive every year, we need to do it to someone. But it's just really awkward and really weird, and I had a hard time following it, in my opinion. And this movie tried to be funny in some places, and it just failed miserably. There was this stupid running joke about one of the detectives. He's being recorded by like a TV producer, and he constantly looks at the camera and he talks about like he makes all these dumb comments and dumb jokes, and he tries to be funny, and it just doesn't work. And it's repeatedly going on, and it's not funny. It doesn't land, and you're just like, oh, can you stop, please, please, please stop, for the love of God. So yeah, it was very awkward. This whole film just is awkward. And it's not the worst thing I've seen, because I will admit there are some things that are fun about it. Like I said, I like the clown. Like, overall, he was funny in some parts. I think that his dumb jokes are kind of funny in some parts. I thought some of the ghouls were creative and interesting. I thought that the opening of the movie wasn't terrible, but it could have been better. And I overall like the whole darkness of the film. Like, it feels like it feels more cinematic and more dark than most low budget indie films, that come out nowadays, like freaking Leprechaun's Game that doesn't even try. This movie at least looked like an effort was put into it, and I at least appreciate it. One last complaint I have with this movie: the ending twist tries to be really complex and really like, oh, whoa, it's a cool twist, but in reality, it's not. And the movie tries to make it this big twist when in actuality, it's not really that interesting. And to be honest, it's kind of anticlimactic. I don't know what else to say about this movie other than it's just really weird. Not the worst thing I've seen. I've seen way worse. It wasn't boring like some other films, so I can at least say it's got that going for it. Like, there were some things that kept me engaged, and there were some unintentionally funny moments that were just like, okay, I gotta continue. What the fuck is that? But for the most part, I don't recommend you see this. I'm going to give this movie, I'll give it a D+. I could give it a D, but there were some things I did like, so I'm not going to be harsh on it. But it's whatever. Guys, 2 more movies. Well, 2 more movies before I review the big fatties, which is Halloween 3 and 4. So stay tuned. I'll see you soon. That was terrible rhyming. I'm sorry.